we always hear about these poorly planned and implemented, examples, and I'm going to say that they're poorly planned because negative news, the bad and the ugly. Remember, I called it the good, the bad, and the ugly. Negative news, the bad and ugly, spreads like wildfire. Whereas, good and great news, rarely, the examples rarely get highlighted. And you can see that in the hotel industry and the food industry. You'll tell everybody what the worst place you ever ate, but you'll never tell people the best place you ate. Okay, it's that's kind of just human nature. Um, so there are tons of examples. So you can find in all these platforms of discussion platforms all the worst cases and stuff, just worst cases now. Um, and I got the phone ringing, but it's no big deal, so I'm not going to answer it. There are several examples where there's lots of examples where it's just you hear the bad stuff, but you don't really hear about the really really good stuff. So go on the translation forums, discussion forums, Prezi and Translators Cafe, and you'll see lots of stuff, these bad examples. But you don't hear about the good ones because the good ones are secret. They're secret deals, or you can't talk about them. Or people can't talk about them until you make a customer testimony publication out about it, which takes like 2 or 3 years after you've gotten the thing going. So those kinds of things are the situation. I'll give an example here of things where I've kind of nipped things in the bud, a situation that could have been worse, or I said people don't do it. Like there was an example of an MT project years ago on an automotive domain. An experienced automotive translator came to me and said that they were receiving some MT post editing on automotive something from some one of their vendor, one of the companies that's kind of intermediary with the customer and all that. And and they came to me, and I've got experience creating automotive MT dictionaries. Okay, creating one for one company, and a previous experience also in the truck and mining equipment terminology for MT at Caterpillar. So I got quite a bit of experience on this for this field. And I looked at the dictionary, the output that came to the MT for that person, and I just said, this is crap. Okay, this is just literally junk, because it had not been trained. It had not been trained on the automotive domain. Um, and so I contacted actually that translation the agency, and I know who to contact. I know the right person who do these, and I just told them, get their act together, get it together, and stop sending out really poorly planned MT projects that have not been trained on the vocabulary of the domain. And this was back in the rule-based days. Okay, this is before all the statistical stuff. And I just said, stop ruining your reputation by sending out and your brand by giving really poorly implemented solutions, and then sending those to all your translators, freelancers who are doing the work. I just said, stop that, because that will kill you. And I think they did that. They did to help. But this is these are the things we hear about. These are the things we hear about all this transfer saying, oh, I got junk. Well, it's just because it was poorly planned and poorly implemented. So that is a problem of the company that sold it again. It comes down to poor implementation, not upselling to all the services, not doing the bad implementation. That's project management, okay? So it's not the tool. It's not the tool doing that. It's the way that the project was planned was just not done right, okay? And I've seen many examples of this. So, and that's why I say no to a lot of projects, or I tell people to say no to projects, because they need to qualify how it was done, how it was implemented, and that's a lot of questions. That's why that video on the I mentioned the one for Prezi, the 2012 virtual conference, because I say all the questions you need to ask to qualify the project to work on or not. And these are just really key. Just like you qualify any regular translation project, you got to qualify an MT post editing project too. Don't always say yes. Say no, say no, say no. And you say no to a lot of we all know the things on the if you see a project for translation that doesn't have like the dialect, answer the question, or which dialect of the language are we talking about? Questions here, red flags. Or if we don't know, They underestimated the number of, there's a massive difference between the word count between what the customer's saying and what you've got in the file. Whoa, don't touch that one, or these kinds of questions that you just things that you do on any translation project. There, you have the same kinds of questions for qualifying an MT post editing project. And it's just the other questions asked, like version name of that. So go watch that video because I just go through it, bam, 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 and I don't want to go through them all here because